Sharing. We're going to be talking a little bit about internal and external sharing, copying links, and managing permissions within the Microsoft Office 365 suite, namely through the Teams, OneDrive, and SharePoint applications. I will start with the Teams application. So there are two primary ways to share. You can invite a member or participant to a team. This will subsequently give them access to all folders and documents within the SharePoint team site. If you remember back to our sort of understanding and theory portion of the training, we identified that all files within a team, within the Teams application, are actually residing or sitting in a SharePoint site. So you access the documents through the Teams application where the document actually sits is in SharePoint. So inviting a member to a team will give them access to all folders and documents within the SharePoint site. Alternatively, instead of inviting someone to a team, maybe it's an internal project team and you want your external participants to have limited access, not full access. Full access should be for those who are stakeholders in the project, namely. So if you wanted to give someone access not to the entire team's contents, but just to a specific document or folder, that can be done on the SharePoint side. So we're going to show you both ways. Like I said, starting with the Teams application, I'm going to open my Teams application. I will, under the Teams tab, navigate to the org file, find, and share team, okay? By clicking on the three dots next to the team, I have the option to manage team. Now, as an owner of this team, I am able to add additional members by searching their name. And for internal participants, you will see the auto-populated drop-down list, which will allow me to select any internal participants that I want to add. See, Raj is already a part of this team. So I will give another example. Okay, so we have Gary being added to this team here. So you can see my ability to change the level of permissions between an owner or a member. The main difference being owners should be limited in that they can manage the participants. As a site owner, you should ideally have at least one backup owner to cover for you when you are away. And as mentioned earlier, when we spoke about the site request process, you are able to identify a primary and a secondary owner at the time of your request. So please make sure to do so. And again, if I wanted to remove Gary, I can simply hit this X here, and he will be removed from the team. So you see I have no members and guests. If I wanted to remove someone as an owner, similarly, I'd be able to knock them down to a member first before removing them. Okay, I'll give you an example of that. So making an owner a member, under members and guests, I have the ability to remove them from the team, but I'm just going to change his access back to an owner. And that is how you simply add or remove members from a team. Like we previously discussed, adding someone to a team will give them access to the entire site and all of its subfolders and documents. Now, you may have a scenario where you only want to share a particular folder or document instead of the entire team. That can also be done through SharePoint. So we will navigate to one of our files or folders here. Let's go in the general folder and into the files tab. Now we talk about the experience in Teams and SharePoint. Although I can view and modify my documents directly here within Teams, you aren't able to share from the Teams application. You will need to open in SharePoint to do so. So by clicking on the Open in SharePoint button, you will notice all the documents and folders I have in this general subfolder here. From there, you will notice a little arrow icon next to each of your listed items that marks your ability to share. Okay, so if I wanted to share a particular document, for example, this number 2 document, I will simply hit this little arrow key and I am able to search for a participant's name. Now, for internal staff, simply start typing in their name and you'll see the options populate underneath. And from there, once you have made a selection, you are able to specify whether or not you want them to be able to edit or not. Okay, so let's say I will specify that I want Ali to be able to edit. I will hit send. This will send him a link that the number 2 document has been shared with you. That link will then allow Ali to edit. All right, so I am going to now show you how to change or remove that access that was given. So going to the 3 dots here, right next to it, right next to the share icon, we have the manage access option here. By managing access, you will see on the right-hand side who I have currently shared this link with. So links giving access. So this link is giving access to this specific individual to edit. If I wanted to add more individuals to that list, I can simply click the 3 dots and specify more names with the same access level. So I gave Ali editing access. I also want to give Raj editing access. So that link that was sent to Ali has now been sent to Raj as well. Okay, just going back. Excuse the delay here. Just going back now to the manage access area again, you will notice that there are now 2 names that are specified under people who can edit. Now, let's say I wanted to share out a mass communication to my entire division. Instead of specifying an individual's name, you can also open the access to the entire organization, and I will show you how to do so. So by clicking on the share icon again, instead of typing in an individual's name and having the access set to specific people, you can change it to people in the region of Peel with the link. Okay, so this will be an open link to anyone within the organization. I would be mindful of allowing editing on documents shared with larger groups because, as we know, we have co-authoring and other features that will allow people to simultaneously make changes at once, and you may not want that. So just be mindful when sharing with the organization whether or not you want to allow editing or not. So let's say I want this to be just the ability to just view. Anyone within the region can only view. I will not select allow editing, and I will hit apply. So people in the region of Peel with the link can view, confirmed. So I now want to copy this link to paste in my email body. And this is the simplest way to do so. So from here, you can simply right click, new email message. And there, shared an open link. All right, that pretty much covers sharing documents, particular documents. Before I show you how to share folders, which the steps are the same, I'm actually going to navigate to a different site, and I'll tell you why. This org file find and share site was created before we had external sharing available. So this site has not been enabled to externally share. Going back to our part 1 of our training, we mentioned that if you need the ability to share outside of the organization, when you are requesting your site, you must indicate the need to externally share on the request form. This will provision the site in accordance to that requirement. So I am going to navigate to a different team that I do have external sharing enabled on. So I'm going to go to this guest access team, and I'm going to show you both adding them as a member, as well as adding sharing particular documents and folders. So the same way we managed the team last time, going to the three dots next to the team name, going to the Manage Team gear icon, I am able to invite external participants to this team as long as the team has been indicated to have external sharing enabled. Okay, so just like I did last time, I'm going to add member, but as opposed to searching from the drop-down list, I actually have the ability to type in an email address outside of the organization. Okay, so by selecting my personal email, I hit add, and an automatic invitation is sent to the external participant, indicating that they have guest access to this team. And you will notice here under members and guests, we have a number of participants, but here we are. So external participants are limited to guest level of access. You are not able to make them members or owners. So just keep that in mind. This will still be enough for them to navigate within the subfolders and documents of the team. Now, let's say we wanted to not share the entire team with an external participant. Instead, we wanted to share just a folder or a file with an external participant. I will navigate to the SharePoint side because that's where the sharing is done from. Right, so clicking into the Files tab, I am now going to open in SharePoint. From there, I have the ability to now share folder or a document externally the same way we did internally. So if I share this Michael test folder with someone outside of the organization, the same way, I have the ability to specify whether I want them to be able to edit or not. Let's say I do want their changes to be made. I will allow them to edit, and I can simply hit send. And this will send them an invitation to edit this folder. Editing access at the folder level will allow them to upload into a folder as well and create new content within the folder. If you only give them read-only access to a folder, they will be able to view the documents that currently exist, but they will not be able to add any new ones. So just keep that in mind when sharing externally, depending on the level of permissions that are required. If you are sharing a folder and you want them to only view the contents of the folder, then do not allow editing. If you want them to be able to upload into the folder, you will need to allow editing. For documents, it's a bit simpler in that editing, you can edit just the document, and viewing, you can view just the document. And that pretty much sums up sharing.